Day 13 of practice, training camp. And it's the first joint practice of training camp with the Chicago Bears. It was a practice. What is up, Finn fans? Let's get it out of the way. Because if you follow on Twitter, or if you mostly follow on Twitter, we're going to get it out of the way. Dolphins offense did not have a good day today. Bears offense didn't have a good day today. Dolphins defense had a good day today. I am going to tell you everything that happened. I went and followed Chicago Bears beat writers so I can get an aspect of both sides of the team and kind of see what the Bears were thinking about how the Dolphins did. Now, let me preference this, and then we'll jump into the on-the-field stuff. First off, it's training camp. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the sky's falling. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this team is going to be horrible. We're going to offer this one joint practice with Chicago, it's bad and you better be worried and this and that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to give you my reaction to what happened, and I'm going to call it like it is. It was a bad day for the offense, 100%. But I'm not going to sit here and overreact over a training camp joint practice. That's just not something I'm going to do. Just like I didn't overreact when the Dolphins had a very dominant joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles a few years ago that equated to nothing during the regular season. This is practice. This is training camp. Just like we're not overreacting to other things happening in training camp, I'm not going to overreact to this. Now, will I say I'm happy about this? Definitely not. Would I have said I'd prefer the Dolphins to come out and have a dominant joint practice with the Chicago Bears? Of course. Is there things that need to be worked on? 1,000%. And we're going to talk about all those things. But I'm also not going to overreact to training camp. We still have about a month until the season starts. Now's not the time to overreact. Some will, and some will in the comment section. That's their prerogative, and good for them. Me, on the other hand, I'm not going to do that. You guys already know how I feel going into the season. I've said it ad nauseum how I feel going into the season. You guys know how I feel at the beginning of this year when they brought back Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer. I have not hidden my worries and my disdain for the offensive line, for the secondary, for all these moves that have or have not been made. You guys know. So again, I am an open book. I don't hide anything. I don't fake anything. I don't lie. So let's jump into this. Tyreek Hill did not practice today. He did travel with the team, but he did not practice today. Supposedly he has an oblique injury. It is nothing serious, but obviously, you want your top guy to be ready for week one, so they're probably going to really slowly bring him along. Mo Kamara was in concussion protocol and was left at home because, again, if you're in concussion protocol or you have concussions, you cannot travel with the team. Rookie safety Dante Trader is not practicing today. Apparently, he's being walked off. Miami was trying to hold him off of work last week to get him healthy for this week. Guess that failed. Looks like Ethan Bonner is going to be starting today. Watch him get targeted. Alec Ingold, concussion protocol, didn't practice. Austin Jackson, Andrew Meyer, Baron Matos, Ashton Davis, Cam Smith, all also did not practice. Caleb Williams will not play Sunday versus the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel didn't really say if any of the Dolphin players are going to practice or play on Sunday, but off of what I saw today, I think some of them should. I think they need to get that whatever out of their system. We'll see who actually plays or doesn't. I will break all that down and give you a preview tomorrow. Bears receiver whipped Dolphins cornerback in one-on-ones. Most of the incompletes were flags. This was against Mike Hilton, Ethan Bonner, Cornell Armstrong had pass breakups. Patrick Paul just got put on the ground during his reps in one-on-one by Deo. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Laird Borum has had 2 good reps in one-on-one. He's improving, which is good to hear. Again, he's a backup tackle. Eric Uzukama just got laid out by Jonathan Owens in 7-on-7, came down with the catch, and a safety couldn't stop his momentum. He walked off after a bit. Nice that he caught it, but it's not good that he got hurt. Just a heads up, the last tweets today. This is from Travis Wingfield. Got to be more diligent with the two fields. Again, it is incredible. My first training camp was last year, and I went for the Washington joint practice. It is incredibly hard to report joint practices because as I said it before, and I'll probably say it again when I'm down there 2 weeks. Offense versus their defense is on this field, and then on the backfield, it's our defense versus their offense. You kind of have to pick and choose what you want to see. But Tua was perfect in 7-on-7s, mostly short stuff, but the ball only hit the ground once when he turfed it. He did have a nice 20-yard outbreak to Malik on D. Caleb Williams couldn't pull the trigger on 3 different occasions, held it for 5+ seconds. Williams did have 3 completions in his second stint, though. Tua just got intercepted by Jaquan Brisker on a pass intended for Chris Myrick. Colson Loveland scored on a 7-on-7 long touchdown after splitting the safeties, John Saunders and Jordan Colbert. So it seems like he was going up against the second string safeties in that one. Taj Washington had a really good 1v1 and 7v7 period. He got open outside against outside leverage at 1v1. Another great route run for a long touchdown. Then he made 2 tough catches in 7-on-7. Alexander Madison fumbled a pass, and Dolphins lost possession during 7-on-7. Dolphins linebacker Jordan Brooks intercepts Caleb Williams on a pass to Cole Kmet. Nice seeing defense get that one. Tua got 2 chunk gains to Achane to open teams, one up the sideline and one down the middle with well-timed throw between 2 defenders. Dolphins zone beaten on long, passed a deep to outside to the names. Zacchaeus, I think that's how you say his name, for a touchdown. Williams had a long touchdown on a really good ball to the corner. Receiver waved. This is the same play. Terrell Smith just broke up a pass from Tua to Eric Izukama. Terrell Smith, who had 2 pass breakups versus Dolphins offense. Miami clearly struggling with how physical the Bears defense is being. That is something you're going to hear a lot. Jalen Wright is running in quicksand. I don't see it. Most of his runs aren't gaining positive yards. That's from Omar Kelly. Tough sledding for Zach Wilson's group. 2 off-target balls. Eric Izukama couldn't hang on when the Bears DB punched the ball out. Then Tariq Black gets a step up on the sideline, but it is overthrown. Devon Achane with a nice first down run on the left side of the O-line. From what I'm hearing, and again, I'll bring this back up. From what I'm hearing, the left side of the Dolphins offensive line, which was Patrick Paul and Jonah, did really well today. Now, there was obviously some stints here and there, but did well today. Jalen Waddle just got laid out by Tariq Stevenson and forced a fumble on a screenplay. He's on the ground for a couple minutes. He was fine, got the wind knocked out of him, eventually came back in and continued practice. Nothing to worry about there. This is from a Bears beat writer. He says, Bears first team defense is having a really rough time stopping the run, especially on the left side. Multiple times, Miami is getting to the second level with big chunk plays. That is from a Bears beat writer, and that is why I followed them to also get maybe I'm not saying our beat writers are biased, but an unbiased aspect of it. And again, it's very good to hear that coming from that left side with Paul and Jonah. It's been tough sledding for the Dolphins offense. The screenplay to Waddle got hit. I already talked about that. And then Tua got sacked twice after that. Teron Armstead made the trip with them to practice. Love seeing Teron with them. This is also from a Bears beat writer. He says, Miami having trouble getting organized with the first team offense. Multiple first starts. McDaniel is just holding his head in frustration. And you should hold your head in frustration because that's on you. That's the discipline of the head coach to get that stuff fixed. Montez Sweat with a sack on Tua. The Dolphins offense is being bullied so far. Taj with 2 more catches back-to-back from Zach Wilson made the first man miss both times too. Cameron Good blocks a punt that goes flying backwards. Nice to hear that. Monterey Baldwin muffed the punt. That's not helping his prospects of making the team. By the way, Waddle is on the sideline. It looks fine. Again, he does come back in. This is from a Bear beat writer. Caleb on the money to commit on 7-on-7s. Ball head zip. Touchdown pass to Loveland. Jonathan Owens and Cornell Armstrong's got into a shoving match when Armstrong was doing his gunner work. Owens is a little first. One bear reported saying it was always Owens. He's the Simone Biles' husband. So apparently Owens is a chippy guy. Channing Tindall just lost containment on a Bears out returner who would have ran it up the sideline for possibly a touchdown. Man, this is struggle city. And then Jalen Waddle is back in. Malik Washington with a nice jump catch on the sideline, beat 31. Dolphins offensive line isn't doing bad. This is from Omar Kelly. But these wide receivers clearly aren't used to playing physical corners, which isn't good to hear because that means our corners aren't physical. Tons of players being rerouted. Tua is throwing to spots and no receivers there. That's not the norm. And that is the problem having this timing offense when especially your receivers can't get off of their blocks and you have nothing but 5'11" receivers. Terrell Dotson steps in front of a hook up and nearly picked off Williams, but he couldn't make the catch. Next play, Caleb runs around but threw it away, which again, good to hear. Again, the Dolphins defense, from what I'm hearing, did really well today. Nash Sirwell with a tackle on Achane in the backfield, put him on the ground too and celebrated. Jalen Wright, nice first down reception from Tua. Not sure whether it's by design, but Dolphins pass rush is forcing Caleb Williams out of the pocket fairly consistently. Throwaway and incompletions on back-to-back plays. Again, very good hearing this from the defense. I was worried about the defense, especially the front. It means the front is doing their thing. Jack Jones fits the run from the weak side and pops for the tackle for loss. Grayson Murphy is intense, loud, explosive, heard as he gets to the Bears quarterback, Tyson Bagent. Good to hear that. Offensive line has had 4 false starts and 2 holding calls. Got to do better than that. Farrah Brown catches a little scramble shovel from Zach, and it takes 4 Bears to stand him up after the catch, which is good to hear. Again, Farrah Brown, a big man. Ollie Gordon finally provides a nice physical run up the gut. Bears defensive line, Andrew Billings, is down hurt. Hopefully he is okay. Dolphins offense responds to the first period. They've been moving the ball, a line of scrimmage behind Paul and Jonah, and now are getting the explosives. Tua got all day off a play action and finds Waddle for about 30 yards coming across the field. Now the next 3 are from Bear beat writers. Tariq Stevenson got burned by Jalen Waddle on a crosser. Nashawn Wright stays with him. Man on a go route, forces an incompletion. Miami just had a couple nice plays where they slipped guys out of the left to the offset the blitz being dialed up by Dennis Allen. Back-to-back false starts for Caleb in 11-on-11s. Couldn't get the timing down with Cole in motion pre-snap on the second one. So again, a little up and down. And then Tua gets picked off a tip pass. So Tariq Black couldn't, so essentially the pass was Tariq Black. He couldn't hold it in off his fingertips, and they get the interception there. So that's pick number 2 for Tua. Really want to put the blame on him for that one. Bears linebacker Tremaine Edmonds just swung Jalen Wright to the ground like a rag doll, nearly started a fight. Jalen Wright got room around the left side behind Patrick Paul, hit the corner with a head of steam. Again, hearing good things from Patrick Paul today makes me happy. BJ Adams in phase on a deep incompletion. Good job getting his hands and staying in the hip pocket up the sideline. Kenneth Grant having a nice day. He's been tough to move in the run game and has gotten knocked back on a couple of rushes. Second fumble today from Alexander Madison. So far, that's 2 interceptions from Tua, 2 fumbles from Madison, and O-line was inconsistent. But again, I give one of the interceptions to Black, but it still happened. Safety Elijah Campbell with a sack. Tua gets Westbrook for a 40-yarder down the middle and shot in stride. Dolphins defense is fighting the Dolphins defense. Punches thrown. So essentially, from what I'm hearing, it was Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dotson. Got into a little bit of a scrimmage fight, and then Zach Sealer came in and ultimately shut that down. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them fighting each other because you know what? They're probably sick and tired of whatever was happening. Maybe they were getting pushed over in one aspect of the practice or whatever. I'm fine with Jordan Brooks, who's probably going to be a team captain and is one of the players who's trying to step up in the locker room, holding his fellow players and teammates accountable and kind of trying to get their heads out of their butts. So I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't think it's necessarily showing, disorganization within the team. I think it's more showing Jordan Brooks holding people accountable, which I'm fine with. This is from a Bears beat writer. He says, I've been more keyed on the defensive field as I'm closer to it, but looks like an up and down day on the offensive side. Again, yeah. Zach Wilson scrambles for 30 yards for a 30-yard gain, getting the offense to the 6. Ryan Hayes seemingly sprained his right ankle and got replaced. Hopefully he's okay. Terrell Smith, a pass breakup in the end zone to Eric Izukama. A rough day early from the secondary and one-on-ones. Defense been better in the team periods. Jack Jones had a knockdown hit, and the Dolphins sideline erupts. He's a ball of energy. Red zone 11 on 11s. Achane stopped in the backfield by Jaquan Brisker. I almost said Brisket. This is from a Bears beat writer. He says, Mika Fitzpatrick gave Bears starting trouble in the most recent set of 11s. Came screaming down the line for a would-be sack, then a big hit on DeAndre Swift handoff. Love hearing that. D. Estridge and Kevin Byard got into a fight. Fight carried on, and Aaron Brewer got involved. Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, and Teron Armstead had to get involved as well. Nice to see Teron get in there. Big man. This is more from that. This is from Joe Shad. He said, holy crap, Mike McDaniel jumped in to break up a scrum. He was fired up. Tyreek Hill and Teron Armstead ran to the sideline too. D. Estridge and Kevin Byard were getting into it. Cool. Again, I'm fine with fighting. It shows that you have heart and you're not rolling over. Keon Smith is ending practice in Jonah's spot. We haven't found him. Coverage sack on Tua's unit. 55 was pressuring to flush him out. Dolphins' first team offense ends on downs. Our brutal red zone period ends in Teron Armstead's pick of Tua. Bears dominated that period. That is interception number 3. 2 that I would fault Tua on. Terrell Dodson with a sack on Caleb in the red zone period. Teron Armstead just carried Jack Jones off the field after seemingly starting to get cramped up. He was fine. He kind of was laughing it off. He did get a cramp. Nothing to worry about there. Bradley Chubb, who has sacked Caleb twice on a red zone play. Chubb again flushes Caleb out of the pocket and forces a throwaway. Love hearing that from Bradley Chubb. Dolphins trainers are just looking at leg. Looks like he cramped up. Again, nothing to worry about. Zach Wilson fumbled a muff handoff and 90 recovered it. Dolphins turnover. Jermaine Ifedi holding on a Zach Wilson play would have been a sack by Booker. Julian Hill touchdown pass from Zach Wilson. Callback. Procedural penalty on Julian Hill. We're fighting for you, Julian. You ain't helping your cause. Zach Wilson throws a red zone touchdown pass to Andrew Armstrong. Dolphins team celebrated big. This is from a Bears beat writer. He says, Bears first team offense got shut down in red zone 11 on 11s. Theo Bennett was the left tackle at the ones. That was interesting. Ozzie Trapillo did rotate in as well. Caleb did have a back pylon throw to DJ where DJ couldn't quite get his head turned around in time, but it was a good throw in my opinion. DJ also drew a PI at the goal line, but no score. Again, that's from their beat writers. Good play on defense. Patrick McMorris with a pass breakup. It happens, and then that's it. That's practice. Wait, is that practice? No, practice ends with a sack from rookie defensive tackle Zeke Biggers. And then Omar Kelly says, Alan Pupart, who watches Dolphins defense, says Miami's defense beat the Bears offense, but the offensive side, Dolphins got dominated until the red zone period. So before we get into the player pressers, again, it was very up and down. Sloppy day from Tua, throwing those 2 interceptions, 3 of them, one of them being a tipped pass. Liked hearing that the left side of the offensive line was doing their thing. Really liked hearing how the Dolphins defense was handling the first team offense of the Chicago Bears. Penalties still a really big thing that they need to get down. Again, that's a head coaching thing. That's a discipline thing. They really need to get those situated. But offense needs to do better. Going into training camp, going into all of this, I was more worried about the defense because of what we had at secondary. And I was like, offense will kind of get into their groove. Maybe they still will. But this was not a good look for the offense. But the defense did their thing. So I wouldn't say the Bears dominated the Miami Dolphins. I think that I would say that the Bears defense dominated the Dolphins offense, but I also think the Dolphins defense dominated the Bears offense. I think it was an even matchup, which I'm pretty sure Bears fans are upset with how their offense played, just like how I'm upset with how the Dolphins offense played. You want both sides of the ball to be dominant, not just one. We'll see. We'll see how all this pans out. We'll also see what happens on Sunday. Again, I don't expect a lot of starters to play Sunday, so I'll talk about that tomorrow when it comes to who I expect to play and what I want to see. But this is essentially week 2 of training camp. This is where you need to start getting into a groove. This is where you need to start focusing on things and figuring things out. Next week, they have a joint practice with the Lions, and the Lions are a better team than the Bears. No offense to the Bears. So that's where I really want to see them ramp it up and learn from today and not play so sloppily, if that's even a word. So again, Dolphins offense got dominated by the Bears defense. Bears offense got dominated by the Dolphins defense. If I had to say who won it, I don't think either team really won it. So there's that. Let's get into some pressers. This is from Mika Fitzpatrick. He said, it's an NFL camp practice. Everyone's got a chip on their shoulder fighting for the roster. Chippy feisty. I was going to say fiesta because I'm hungry. Jordan Brooks was holding people to a high standard today, Mika said. It can be confrontational, but it's necessary. Like I said, I am fine with that fight between Terrell Dotson and Jordan Brooks because that's what I want. Especially in the locker room, especially at halftime. In an actual game during the regular season, if things aren't going the right way, if one side of the ball is looking like they're just lackadaisical and they're just kind of going through the motions, and the other one is really, really fighting, like essentially, in my opinion, the Seattle Seahawks game last year, where for 2.5 quarters, the Dolphin defense held the Seattle Seahawks to no points, forcing punts and turnovers on downs, and the Dolphins offense wasn't doing anything. I want the Dolphin defense to yell at the offense to get their heads out of their butts and help us out. So I'm fine with the chippiness on that one. Alexander Mattison had an outstanding camp, but put on the ground twice today. Says he has to check his technique and fundamentals. My goal this year is to be an asset and to grow. He also said they get after it. It looks beautiful. There's a lot of space. I'm excited to be running behind them when talking about the offensive line. We feel good with where we're at, but there is greatness waiting for us. You got to do better. You got to do better after today. There were times too it was pressured a little bit more than I would like from James Daniels. I'm amped up. The juice and energy is flowing from Kenneth Grant. It's all about building confidence and knowing that you belong. Talking about his rookie journey. He's quite the leader, but when he needs to, he's a quiet leader, but when he needs to speak up, he speaks up and changes his tone. I think he's talking about Sealer there. Mika Fitzpatrick didn't comment specifically on the moment, but said Brooks is a leader and held the team accountable to high standards. It was definitely humbling to show that growth, kind of said about coach showing Zach Sealer's tape from his second year. It shows everyone starts from somewhere. And that is your joint practice with the Chicago Bears. Like I said, sloppy day on offense. We did get some plays in here and there. Like I talked about, there were some deep passes from Tua to Westbrook and some passes to Waddle and there were spurts here and there of good from the offense, but as a whole, sloppy day from the offense. Need to do better. Defense, again, I'll say it, won the day for the Dolphins, and then the Bears defense won the day for the Bears. So to me, I don't think that one team was a pure winner. I think both offenses struggled and both defenses dominated. So it was a defensive day overall. That's what I put it at, but they need to do better. absolutely 1000% need to do better. This isn't a standard that should be held for this team, especially if you have a head coach and a GM who should be fighting for their job. Should be. Are they? We'll find out as the season goes on and when we hit the end of the year if things fall apart. But as of now, that's what I got for you. Day 13 of training camp. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you tomorrow. We are going to be previewing Sunday's first preseason game against the Chicago Bears. And I will also see you Sunday at 1 o'clock live streaming the Miami Dolphins taking on the Chicago Bears. Well, Matt, like usual, stay classy and fins up.